bookworms! Welcome back to my channel and to another review. Today I'm going to be talking about a very famous novel of the haunted house genre, but not really your typical haunted house novel, The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. This novel takes place in the aftermath of the Second World War and is about the doctor who befriends this family who lives in this huge house. And this house and the family in it used to be so grand and kind of famous themselves and very well regarded. But after the war and after the death of the patriarch, everything started falling apart, and basically in the present everything is very dilapidated. But as I said, the doctor becomes close to the family, befriends them, only to find out that there is something else in this house other than the obvious occupants. Are those some skeletons in the closet and demons from the past? Or are there actual supernatural elements in the house? Now, this book definitely didn't turn out to be what I thought it would be when I first heard it was a haunted house novel. That's why I also said it's not really your typical haunted house novel. By the way, I am aware of the fact that in the past, 2 months, I've been talking a lot about haunted house novels. Anyway, the book keeps you guessing regarding the supernatural elements, the haunting elements. Things that look supernatural can also have a natural explanation. So which one is it? But I do want to talk a little bit more about this twist of the haunted house genre, because this is something that really stood out to me while reading the book, and I really liked it. By the way, I also liked the entire book. I don't think I've said it before. This is going to be a very positive review. So going back to this haunted house genre and the twist on it. First of all, we have the time period. This is no Victorian Gothic novel, but instead takes place in a more modern time. It never states exactly when the book takes place, but I assume it takes place either in the late 40s or the early 50s because, as I said, it talks about it being not too long after the Second World War. Now, this time period is itself very haunted in a way because England, much like many other countries, especially in Europe, changed a lot after the war. This change is especially noticeable in richer families like the ones in the book. In addition, as I said, the patriarch of the family, the father of the family, also passed away, and so the business of the farm that they had also suffered, and it also influences and affected their finances. So basically we have an entire family, or what's left of it, who live in this house that constantly remind them of how it and their lives used to be. Like a ghost of a house, basically. And I could have done an entire video kind of analyzing and going deeper into how this book uses the house itself as a ghost, of how houses grow personalities and secrets because of the people who used to live in it. And as people change, their past lives kind of remains in the house as kind of ghosts. But I do want to keep this video concise, so let's move on. Next, we have the point of view of Dr. Faraday, who, by the way, does not have a first name. He is not part of the house, but is introduced to it, like the reader, and his skepticism about the paranormal can mirror our own. But I do find that the person who is narrating the story and the person who is experiencing the disturbances is also an interesting twist. No longer are we the poor maid who sees things moving on their own and no one believes her. This time we take the other side, the other point of view, and we can't help but wonder, what if it's all in their heads? So on that sense, it's very interesting. The entire book is very interesting and very well written, and I really enjoyed the reading process. However, there are some things that I do want to warn you about if you're intending to read the book. These are not negatives, but these are things that you might want to know. First, it's a long and slow reading process. The book takes its time and it has a lot of ups and downs when it comes to the action. It's not like one of those books that starts slowly but then it picks up and keeps going. Instead, there is like peaks and then life goes on, then another peak, and then it continues, and so on and so on. Basically, it's not as much as a haunted house horror story as much as it is a drama about a family falling apart with some mysterious elements to it. It's not bad in any way, but I do want you to know that in case you're looking for the next Amityville horror. If that's the case, look elsewhere. If you want a more classic horror story, I recommend This House is Haunted that I recently reviewed, or maybe a classic like The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Also, if you like your books to end with you having all the answers wrapped in a nice little bow, then this is not the book for you. This book doesn't only keep you guessing throughout it, but it also doesn't end with you having a lot of concrete answers. This is obviously done on purpose, and I do like my books usually to have a closed kind of an ending. However, it does leave the door open for you to come up with your own theories, and I definitely have mine. I will share them with you at the very end of this video. These will contain spoilers, so I'll give you enough time to sign off in case you're not interested in those. But basically, this is a very good, very interesting, and very well-written book that gives us a unique twist on this classic haunted house genre. I suppose in a way it suggests that other than ghosts, houses can also be haunted by memories. I really enjoyed reading it, even though it took me a long while, not because it was boring, but because it is a slow burn book. But I'm really glad I finally got to reading it because I've heard about this book like years ago, and it always got me curious. And I'm also curious about the movie version. It came out in 2018. If you've seen the movie, write down below if you liked it, if you also read the book, like how was it as an adaptation, etc. But no spoilers. So anyway, before I go on into my own theories and spoilers about the book, I would like to say goodbye to those of you who do not want to get any spoilers, who are interested in reading this book, which I highly recommend if you hadn't. So to those of you who want to leave us now, thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you dare, and I will see you in my next video. Now, to those of you who are still with us, these are my theories about the supernatural, or maybe lack of it, the ending of the book, which is a little bit ambiguous. I will be talking as if I'm assuming that you've read the book. Now, let's start with the basics. I do think that there is a supernatural element involved here. I do think that the house was haunted by the spirit of Susan, the dead child, but instead of just ghosts hunting the house and doing whatever it is that they are doing, it was also their memories by the people who lived in the house and remember them that kind of brought them back to life or to reality. For example, I do think that the mother did commit suicide, but I also think that the ghost of her dead child helped her. I think that all the bad memories in the house, the memories of the dead child, the dead father, the time that Rod came back after the war so injured, I think that all of these strong feelings and memories created traumas in the family and in their memories, basically. And all these things became so strong because they also insisted on staying in this house that was way too big for them, way too expensive to maintain, a house that was basically a burden of them. Because all of that, all these traumas and bad memories became real, became ghosts. I also think that another person that was affected by it was actually Dr. Faraday, even though he was affected by it in a different way. He was obsessed with the house ever since he was a child, and his insistence on staying in the house even after his marriage to Catherine tells me that the house kind of affected him, and it kind of wants to get rid of the broken old family and start anew with him, or him and Catherine. I even think that part of the reason that he even wanted to marry Catherine was that due to that he will be able to get the house and be in it, because his skeleton in the closet was the fact that he always looked at this grandeur from the outside and desperately wanted to be a part of it. And even more, I also think that he was the one who killed Catherine. Remember, when she died, he was asleep in his car, not too far away from the house itself. And obviously, because he was asleep, he couldn't account for his actions. But maybe the house affected him so much that he sleepwalked or sleep killed, basically. Think about it. Catherine's last words were "you," recognizing her killer. And Dr. Faraday has been to the house enough times. He knew how to find his way, even in the dark. He knew where Betty sleeps, so he knew how to keep quiet and not to wake her up. I think Catherine going away and leaving the house was actually taking the opportunity from him to be in the house. And when she dies, he kind of gets what he wanted. After her death and basically the house being empty, he can come and go as he pleases. And in the book's last paragraph, it says that when he's alone in the house, sometimes he sees a shadow in the corner of his eye and he tries to find out what it is. And every time, the only thing that he sees is himself. I think that the house actually took over in a way on Dr. Faraday, and now he is kind of the ghost in the house. But I also think that there are so much to uncover in this book, and I'm curious to know what you think if you read this book. I think that the last sentence about all he can see is himself is really a hint to the fact that he was at least affected by the house to be kind of the new ghost in it. Or I also believe, as I said, that he is the one who actually killed Catherine. But please comment down below and tell me what you think. However, please, if your comment contains spoilers, mention that ahead. I also really want to someday reread the book and try to analyze it even deeper. And by the way, if you know of a video or a book or something that really analyzed this book, please let me know. I would like to listen to it or read it myself. So guys, this is officially the ending of this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to click the like button to show your support and also to subscribe to my channel if you dare. And I will link down below in the comment section reviews to other similar books, you know, horror, haunted houses, etc. So make sure to check them out as well if you like this genres, because I sure do. Comment down below if you have any recommendations for me. So guys, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.